Hey everyone, it's CricketSong and you're watching another episode of Weird Witches Witchcraft. And tonight it's me and my co-host Obsidian Fire.
Bonjour tout le monde, comment ça va? Aujourd'hui on a un petit changement de programme, on était censé parler d'un sujet mais on ne le fera pas parce que CricketSong n'est pas très en forme, alors on va faire un peu plus simple. En fait je suis pas si sûre que ce sera plus simple mais on va voir.
Tonight, I know if you're in the chat, we have a bunch of people in chat right now. It says that we're going to talk about protection magic. However, things have changed a little bit. I'm feeling under the weather, not feeling very well tonight. So we're actually going to do a witchy tag. Obsidian and I have created a 10-question witchy tag for 2019. And if you're watching, if you're in the live chat or you're watching a recorded, the recorded episode, you're tagged. And we'd love to have you answer these questions as well in a video response. So do the 2019 Weird Witches Witchcraft witchy tag. Or if you're watching live and you don't make videos on your YouTube channel, then please, after the show is done, go under the comments and answer the questions. We want to know your responses to these 10 questions. Okay, so the first question. The first question is question number 1. And these questions will be in the information section. I tried to edit this while we were coming live, so I don't know if they actually appear. But if you go back and watch the video, they should appear. And if they don't, I will check and I will add them. So question 1 is animism part of your spiritual practice? Animism. And this is basically the belief that God is in everything, that everything is God. Animism, or has a spirit, I guess. Yeah. What about you? And we were just talking about this before we came on tonight. So, animism.
That's going to be difficult for me because, as you know, I'm not skilled enough in English sometimes most of the time, to explain tricky concept, and this one is a tricky concept for me to explain. Okay, so if we consider that animism is the belief that everything has kind of a soul, my answer would be no. I don't think so. My what could I say? My lighter, I don't think that my lighter has a soul. So as simple as that, no. But if it's about energy of a greater source, and in this regard, if it is, do you consider that everything holds a part of this greater energy? So yes, my answer would be yes.
Yeah, and I agree with Obsidian. I feel like that everything is insane. So for me, when I talk about the creator, or I talk about the gods, you know, if I have a matron and patron, they're very much like personified. They have like a personality. They have this desires. They have agendas, you know, and so I see the deities or gods and goddesses in that way. Although I do believe in the all, meaning universal source energy, and that's more primordial. That is more non-personified. It's the energy, like Obsidian said, that connects everything, and it's like it doesn't really have a personality. You know, it's a non-named energy. So in the sense that everything is made of energy, like her lighter or my cell phone is made of the same energy, but I don't believe that my cell phone or her lighter has a personality, doesn't have a spiritual like entity. So I guess animism in that sense does have a part in my practice, like Obsidian was saying. So, like, for example, right now in my personal practice, I don't have a particular god or goddess. I work with the primordial energies of the masculine and the primordial energies of the feminine. So that would be the animistic type that I'm working with right now, where I also work with my beloved dead and the ancestors. That's more a personified energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's question one. So question two. Question two, is your witchcraft, I'm sorry, if your witchcraft is eclectic, what spiritual paths, practices, religions, philosophies are the basis of your practice?
Okay. So, yes, it is eclectic
Okay.
because I do believe that every concept in religion or spirituality are kind of eclectic anyway. So, yeah, it
So
is.
then what's the basis? Like, what is the, I guess, the backbone of your practice?
It's difficult to say because there is a lot of influences and it's my own path. I
Right.
do not follow any specific tradition,
Right.
nor any ritualistic tradition, but I do have some roots in Hellenistic for the most part, and um, maybe a bit of Celtic, maybe a bit of there is new agey concept in it
Mm.
also. Some some what would it a bit of Wicca,
Mm.
a bit of a lot of things. It's really difficult to sum that up for me, but it's
Yeah. It's really a
the spine connects, kind of
I
connect.
guess what connects everything? Like if you were to um, pull back, take out the new agey stuff, is there one thread that is common that is like, it's the thread that you then have attached other things to?
It's what is already there. I don't have to connect because it's what I
So what
do.
is the one common thing that weaves through it all then? Is it just magic, a belief in magic and the supernatural?
Energy and yeah, absolutely, because there is when you just look at it without practicing anything, when you just look at it, you will see all the points who links everything
Mm,
between those different practice, and that kind of sum up what I do believe in because there it is everywhere. So it intertwine with everything else. It's the energy work. It's the creator universe, more
mm.
multiverse. It's everything like this. The gods within us and everything like that. And it's pretty difficult to sum up
Yeah.
because it's see I cannot sum up because there is too much. But those are kinda everywhere.
Mm,
So the basic spine, if you wanna sum up in this way, it's like the spine that you can find in ev- almost every different tradition
yeah. Because I
because
was
there is
just
so much in common.
Yeah, I was just
So
trying to think, back not that long ago, I would have said that Wicca was the spine and everything else kind of intertwined with that because my practice is eclectic as well. But I don't think it's that way anymore either. And I was just sitting here trying to think what would be my backbone. And I think I might say spiritualism is the backbone. the spiritualists, that kind of thing. I think that might be the backbone right now.
How do you understand the word
Um,
spiritualism?
well, not just the word. So let me see if I can find real quick spiritualism. A system of belief or religious practice based on communication with the spirits of the dead, specifically through mediums, or the doctrine that the spirit exists as distinct from matter, and that spirit is the only reality. So, that the idea that, not everything, as we already discussed, which means I'm definitely not a spiritualist, but that the living have spirits that then reincarnate or live on, and that we are able to communicate with them and receive messages in that. But I know that even the churches, at least the churches that I'm aware of, they do have a specific principles that they follow. But I don't know if I completely follow all of their principles. There's 9 principles. And you can find this on Wikipedia. So if you're interested in spiritualism, I would direct you to anyone watching to go there. But there is some that I may not specifically follow. Like there's a golden rule too, which I would say, yes, do unto others as they do unto you. But sometimes if, that doesn't mean turn the other cheek every time either. And I know a lot of spiritualist churches are based in Christianity too. And I'm saying this because I was sort of involved in one of the spiritualist churches. I always did their psychic fairs, and they are really uncomfortable with witches because of the connection with,
Who's not uncomfortable with witches?
yeah. So that's why I'm saying if I had to really look at it, maybe that might be the backbone, but I'm not too sure anymore either. So
you see, it's really difficult to pinpoint something. Okay, so if one of you watching is following a specific path, so this is your backbone. But I don't follow a specific path. I'm just a witch. And I'm working with everything that seems to right and true to me.
Yeah, me too. So, but I think I came up with this question, and Obsidian, I think you will agree. When we were talking about it, I still considered myself Wiccan, a foundation in Wicca, when I came up with these questions. And no, I do not consider myself Wiccan. Corey, he asked. Corey, hey Corey. No, I do not consider myself Wiccan any longer. No, I don't. But I think that's when I came up with that, because some eclectics do have like one, and then they incorporate others. That's the strongest pull.
Like the starting point of their practice, and then but I no, I never have any tradition or specific paths to start with. It was my belief was always that everything was intertwined, and that there wasn't just only one truth. That was my belief from as long as I remember, and that is what draws me out of the Catholic mind. I wasn't into it really. My parents wasn't really, but it's kind of the usual belief in my country. It's most of people are Catholic, so I was used to this way of thinking, but I've never really fall into, and I was and I always was because because I don't think there is one and truth in any
Right.
belief or religion or spirituality. For me,
Yeah, me either.
everyone is part of the whole.
Okay, so I just spilt my water. Yay.
Oh,
Because my cat is coming up to say hello. Okay. Question number 3. What type of meditation do you practice?
mm, well, I don't know always it is gold, but so most of the time I am just listening to some music, kind of mm, new agey music,
Mm-hmm.
and I do meditate, just as simple as that in music. And sometimes when it's more difficult for me to focus, I will use the help of a guided meditation when I am, you know, troubled or anxious, and it's more difficult to for me to concentrate. Then I will use guided meditation.
Guided
But
meditation.
most of the time when I go for a walk, my mind is flying away. So mm, it's
Yeah.
very basic. No, it's not, but it's effective. Basic doesn't mean useless.
Right, right. I use music, usually the ones with the binaural beats in the background where
Yeah.
it kind of helps you get into it. But lately I've been doing mantra and chanting
Hmm.
lately. But I do all different types, but usually it's something to do with some sort of music or yeah, he's being a brat. Some sort of music or stop it. No biting. Some sort of music or yeah. Yeah, or chanting. Oberon.
He would need some meditation
Yeah,
too.
he needs some meditation. Stop biting. Okay, so the next question number 4. What is your craft is your craft ritualistic in nature, or is it more spontaneous and intuitive?
The second,
Spontaneous and intuitive.
yeah, there is not really ritualistic
What are you doing?
bones to it, which not prevent me to do some ritual too sometimes at very specific moments on the year, but most of it are intuitive.
Yeah, I would say again, when I was more following sort of when my path was more based in Wicca, it was more ritualistic, but right now it's more spontaneous and intuitive.
Yeah, for me too.
Yeah, the cat is not necessarily pissed off. He just wants to play, and I'm ignoring him. So, yeah, maybe he is pissed off. Um, he wants to play, and no one is here to play with him. Okay, number 5. Do you have an altar? And if so, what is the overall theme? Like, what sort of things do you keep on it? And if you don't have an altar, where do you perform most of your magical workings?
I do have an altar, a very we can say very traditional one in this case, because there is not original or curious thing on it. It's really, it's a basic altar. You might consider it kind of Wiccan in some way. It is not in my eyes, but I do use what talks to me. So and it's very basic, with a pentacle and different elements on it. So different thing who represents elements. and yeah, candles and statues and things like that. So yeah, it's kind of traditional with my culture and all. So
Yeah, I have an altar. Mine has my cauldron on it, my pentacle. It's an incorporation of my beloved dead. Sort of my altar for my beloved dead is the altar I do my working at, which is why I kind of feel like maybe spiritualism is part of the, the basis of my practice.
mm-hmm.
So it has cauldron, candles, stones, not crystals, but actual stones, feathers, bones, pentacle. I think I said that already. I think that's it. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and the statue of Baphomet.
Yeah,
Baphomet.
yeah,
Yeah.
statue, and yeah,
So
the same, and
Baphomet.
burner and crystals.
You have
But
statues of your gods and goddesses on your
yeah,
altar? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. If I was working with a specific god or goddess, that statue would be on my altar too.
yeah. But
Yeah.
my not ancestors, but it's
You're,
kind of all in the same for me. Every
yeah.
um, I mean, in the on the altar, because in a spiritual concept, it is not the same. But beloved dead ancestors, spiritualized are all contained in an area
Hmm.
which is not on my main altar, but just beside. So it's close. And yeah, I do keep several boxes with a little thing in it. Most of it are part of my actual practical craft, which mean I do hold in there or just behind or below the altar, spell bag and spell bottle and different thing like this,
Hmm.
which are continually on my altar. I do keep my own oracle on it too.
Hmm.
And yeah, a little bit of this and then my jewelry, my infused jewelry are always on the altar too. And yeah.
Very good. Okay. So number 6, what type of divination do you practice most often? What one do you practice the least often or not at all?
I do not practice a lot of different type of divination.
Mhm.
So I would go with the most and most often and the least often, and everything else will be included in the not.
So what
Okay.
one do you practice the most often?
At this time, dosing rods,
Hmm.
which
Okay.
happens to be really effective and still blow my mind uh, every time. We did um, do some kind of experiments because it was so impressive that yeah, we were to all my arms still on the table, so no possibility for it to move and hold my hands to my hands for it not to move. And yeah, and it happens apparently it's the tool who answers me the best.
Hmm.
I don't know why, but it's this way. So actually, dowsing road is the most often, and by default, the least often would be oracle deck, with cards. But I still do use that kind of often too. But it's the only two forms of divination I'm using right now. So difficult. So yeah, those in.
Is there any form of divination that you don't do at all and would never do?
No, I don't
Okay.
think so. I mean, I don't do by default, but that I don't have any problem with other types of divination. I would like to do shit. How is it called already? Um, Scrying
Oh,
with.
okay.
I really would like to, but I need to either make my tool or buy one, so it is delayed. Um, I've used and I will use again spirit board. I'm using that too, like regularly, so it's okay for me too. And yeah, what other type? Oh, maybe pendulum. I was in a time of my life at a time really into pendulum, but that doesn't talk to me no now anymore. So I'm not using it, and I don't plan to use it. So well, yeah, maybe pendulum would be my no go for
Okay.
actually.
So, what type of divination do I practice most often? Cards, tarot cards, oracle cards, card tarot mostly. Least often or not at all. Um, I mean, from the divination tools I have, I think my crystal ball has been the least often. I'm still using it, but it's the least often. And I've never used dowsing rods. Not, I mean, I don't, I mean, if someone were to say, hey, I have some, you want to try it, I would try it. But I haven't used dowsing rods.
Come to visit me.
Huh? What?
To that one the day you will come to visit me.
Yeah, when I come visit you, you'll have to let me try out your dowsing rods.
Of course.
Okay. Question number 7. What 5 words describe your craft? 5 words to
Oh,
describe your craft.
I was about to answer some shit, but I want 5 words. Uh, Solitary, eclectic, um, spontaneous.
Okay.
Um, Maybe words who include, the connection with the spirits and the
Okay.
gods. But I don't know what word I would choose because I'm not skilled enough in English. So,
Let's
what
see.
words would you?
A word to describe a connection. You could, I mean, if you want a communication with spirits, you could say necromancy.
Yeah, kind of, but it's not just the spirit of the
And
dead.
then, well, and then the gods, you could say, divinity or divine communication or something like that.
Maybe we would just go with divination.
Okay,
And
divination.
go
Well,
with it.
then you have another one more word.
Yeah, and mm, there's there could be a lot.
I
So
know.
I
Pick one.
pick one. So.
Oh, you
Mm,
could say and what was the not pantheism
panentheism.
but panentheism.
Yeah, panentheism. I could say, but nah,
Okay,
nah,
got that one.
not that one. No, it's not. Representative enough.
Yeah.
So I hesitate between a couple of words. I would go for maybe what is the adjective with fire? Fiery, maybe?
Oh, passion. You could say passion, passionate.
Passionate, yeah, for sure. But I would like to include the notion of using fire,
Fire.
being fire, a lot of fire. It's burning
Yeah.
every, in a really
Fiery.
curious,
Yeah, you could say fiery. Yeah. Okay.
fiery.
All right, my 5 words. 5 words. What describes my craft? 5 words.
Shadow. Yeah, that could be a nice
Oh,
one.
what did you say? 5 words. Um, intuitive. Want to go with intuitive.
Mhm.
Definitely gonna go with intuitive. My 5 words that describe my craft. Intuitive, spontaneous. I'll go with spontaneous. Spiritual. I'm gonna say spiritual, and that could be that. I feel like that could be gods or spirits. So I'm gonna say spiritual. Um, um, oh gosh, it's the last two, right? I'm gonna say magical because that could incorporate a whole bunch using magic in many different ways. And I'm gonna go with oh no. Balance. I'm gonna say balanced. Balanced. I'm gonna say balanced. Those are my
That's
5 words. Okay, number
excellent
8.
description.
What is the title of the current or last witchy type book you've read? And would you recommend it? Now, it can be nonfiction or fictional, but it's a witchy type book you've read. And would you recommend it?
Okay, so that's tricky because I do not read a lot of
I
books,
know you don't. I
which
know.
and I those last years I didn't read much for a reason
Mhm.
that you know why.
Is there a resource book you use, though,
Oh, there is,
that you
yes.
would recommend?
I don't know if I would recommend because what my problem is I do not have much access to the witchy books who are for the most part in English.
Mhm.
So
But
it
that
is
doesn't mean we
difficult.
don't have French speaking or reading viewers either.
Yeah, but I don't go for the French one because most of the time those ones sounds kind of shallow. Is it shallow?
Shallow,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
just check. Yeah,
Yeah,
shallow.
shallow.
It is. Most of the time, those ones, for me, sounds like yeah, a bit shallow. So I don't go for those ones. So I don't have any recommendation for a book in French, which left me with a bunch of books in English, and I am just using it for correspondences like the encyclopedia of the herbs and plants
Oh,
by
by Cunningham?
yeah. I
Okay.
it,
I
this
use
one
that
is
one too.
this one is useful,
Okay.
concise, and yeah, yeah. I like this one. It's easy. And which other one would I recommend? The fact that I don't have much access of any kind of witchy lore always forces me to go and seek
Right.
for the information I need and pick, what I want. So it's useful in a way because it taught me how to, and I do learn some of the mechanics
Mhm.
this way, and I don't just follow something I've read in a book. This is something I don't either do or recommend in any way. So, okay, so yeah, I don't. Yeah, the encyclopedia is fine, and I think I would go with that because I don't read that much,
Okay.
again, because no time and no easy access. So I'm not in the best place to advise anything.
Okay. All right. So
I'm
I'll
sorry.
advise. I'll talk about books. I have 4 sitting on my desk. 5, 6. Actually, I have 6, 7. Wait. Yeah, 7 sitting on my desk. The Cunningham's book is sitting on my desk because I'm working through the
Oh,
practical witchcraft series that I'm working on. So that's on my desk.
that's very
So for correspondences for herbs and incense. So I too recommend that. I use that. But that's not a book that I would read cover to cover.
no.
So
There is just to pick information into it.
right. But another resource book that I would recommend that again I don't read cover to cover is The Magician's Companion.
Oh yeah.
Practical and Encyclopedic Guide to Magical and Religious Symbolism by Bill Whitcomb. See, I have some pages tagged. This is a great resource book. Again, this isn't one I would just sit and read cover to cover either, because it's like charts and things like that.
Oh,
So
that's really useful too.
it is. I really like this book. I had bought it from a witch who is getting rid of some of her books.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought it for a lot less than what it would have gone for in the in a bookstore. It's a great book. I mean, it's got seals and stuff. Obsidian. Look at it's got seals.
Yeah, I do use a lot of seal,
It's
as
got
you know. Yeah, yeah.
seals.
Oh, yeah, I do have this
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
I know you do. Um, so I recommend that too. I love that book. Okay,
Interesting.
so a book that I've read completely and would recommend: Traditional Wicca: A Seeker's Guide by Thorne Mooney.
Oh, yeah. I would
And
love
this
to.
copy that I'm holding right now, stay tuned. She's coming back on the show. And this exact book, which has been signed by Thorne, could be yours. So stay tuned on an episode coming in the future. I'm going to be giving that one away. And then 2 books I am currently in the process of reading that I would recommend so far. I haven't finished them, but we got Aradia, The Gospel of the Witches by Charles G. Leland. I'm reading through it. I recommend it so far. I haven't finished it. I'm reading that in conjunction with Besom Stag and Sword, which someone in the chat mentioned this book too. Shadow Sun. No, not Shadow Sun. Who just Moon Willow Magic. I'm reading this. I haven't gotten too far. Let's see my little tag. But I'm in the process of reading it, and what I've read so far, I really enjoy. There's a lot of exercises in here. Oh yeah, see, and there's a whole section on animism. Yeah, on page 13. So far, what I've read right across from a picture of the Baphomet. How interesting is that? Anyway, I'm reading this one. So far, what I've read, I like, and I'm actually going to reach out to Christopher and Tara and see if they'll come on the show and talk about it once I finish reading it. But yeah, those books are what's sitting. There's more books sitting on my desk, but I'm not going to talk about them. One of them's not even witchy whatsoever. But so those are the books I'm reading, have read, and use, and I would recommend. So that was question number 8. Question number 9. What YouTube channel or channels are you watching most frequently at the moment?
This is an easy one for me. Lunar Wisdom. I don't know if you've heard about
I
it, but
haven't heard of that channel at
I'm
all.
following this channel since years now, and I do still following it because it's the most
It's a good
interesting.
channel.
Yeah, it's a pretty good channel, in my opinion. So I do follow this one specifically since years. I do have several others channel in my subscribed list, but to be honest, it's been months since I did really watch every content. So the other one recommend I would really recommend too, and the other one I follow truly is the Lady Grave Dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty really good inspiring channel too, and I do
You got to
like.
catch up on her videos. You said you haven't seen her last one.
Yeah, the last one, yeah, I did miss it, but I won't miss it for long. I will catch with it. I've watched a lot of her videos, and yeah, I do really like her channel and her mind and her, yeah, I like it really.
Yeah. I
She's not.
watch her channel too. What one has so the channels that I've been watching most frequently lately are not even people I'm subscribed to. So, like I was telling Obsidian, I've been watching abandoned, like urban explorer channels lately. Like this past couple of weeks, I've been watching those. I'm really fascinated by houses that have been abandoned and are not
It's really
being lived
interesting.
in. And the ones I really like are the ones where they find a whole bunch of stuff left behind. You know,
Uh-huh.
this fascinates me. I was just watching one today about a millionaire's house that was abandoned in California, and they were walking through, and it looks like people just up and walked out. And
Oh
this house has been abandoned for 10 years now or
God.
longer, like 10 or 12 years. And it looks like, literally looks like people just up and left and never went back. Those things fascinate me. Um, Witchy wise, I think I binged watched a few videos from She Who Walks Between the Worlds, Drew. I was watching her Witchy Tale series. It's all about her personal experiences. So she uploaded one. She did upload a video like 9 hours ago, but I haven't watched that one. The Witchy Tales, her Witchy Tales, are what I spent most of my time watching. I watched all them. Um, who else do I haven't watched anybody else in a while,
Yeah,
honestly.
it's not a lack of interest though. It's just
No,
at
no,
least
no.
I know it's not for you and it's not for me either. It's just, sometimes we're not that into it, and our mind is focused on something else. And sometimes, and I do have a lot of moments um, where I've watched only on witchy channels, just only that. And sometimes not so much. And actually, it's not so much, but
Yeah,
it's not really.
Obsidian Fire does not have a YouTube channel. I know
Oh, so
someone is asking if we know if you have a YouTube channel. She doesn't have one. Um, she's exclusively
yeah,
here on my channel during this show.
yeah,
And she was reluctant when I first approached her to be my co-host.
that's good.
Um, but yeah, I imagine you'll only see her on my show. So
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
he's
that's
sad.
cute. Don't be sad. That's too cute. I wouldn't have much to say, you know. So
That's what she told me when I said, "Why don't you have a YouTube channel?" She says she doesn't have much to say. Um, but I enjoy talking with her, and she's going to be my co-host for as long as she's willing to be.
as young as you're willing to have me, you know.
I told you already. You're my co-host for your life.
Yeah, great. Okay. Where
And
do I
we're
sign?
ideally the plan is for me to go visit her in France, and
Yeah.
we'll have to create videos while I'm out
Oh,
there.
sure. Yeah, sure.
Oh
You
yeah.
should. We should do that.
That's the plan. Where there's things that have to happen in order for me to get out there. So I'm working on that. And
Gonna
she's
take.
working on helping me on that, but
Yeah.
that's almost like beyond us at this moment. But
Oh, you're so cute.
ugh.
Thank you.
The last question of the tag is, if your witchcraft or spiritual practice was a TV series or movie, what would be the title? What would be the title of your
Fucking mess.
witchcraft practice? What? What would it
A
be?
fucking mess.
A fucking mess. But how do you say that in French? Because it would be in French.
Un putain de bordel.
That sounds so neat, though. I love it. I love it. Can you type it in the chat? I want to see what it looks like.
All right. Let me do that.
This is the title of her practice or witchcraft. I love it. Putain de bordel.
It's not, is it? Yeah, it's not nice language.
It sounds nice.
But it's not.
That's the name of hers. What's the name of mine? Oh my gosh. What would it be? I don't know. I want to say like practical witchcraft, but that's the name of my series coming out. And that's probably what it would be, because I sit and I think, and all the magic that I do, all the witchcraft that I practice is for practical reasons. I mean, before I would like hold ritual to commune with the gods, and I would do this big elaborate thing to just sit in circle and do meditations. It was very ritualistic, and my craft is not like that anymore. I don't look for ritual to get into circle to do that kind of thing anymore, because number one, I don't have specific gods that I'm working with. So I'm really working with primordial energies. So to commune with them, I just go outside. So it's more practical. So I almost feel like practical witchcraft would be the name of my practice right now.
So, yeah, so it's okay.
That's what it is.
Okay, so it is.
All right,
It's
so that's
better
what it
than
is. Voila. Voila. Practical
Voila.
witchcraft.
We have a couple of minutes left.
Yes, we have about 10 minutes left.
Okay, so
yeah,
maybe you
I like
to know
Loving Moon Waters. I like the name of that, and Anna.
Sweet.
That is beautiful.
Sweet, very sweet. Maybe
questions.
Yeah, taking questions.
Questions. We got 10 minutes.
So,
natural and spiritual craft. Oh, I love that, Shadow Sun. Natural and spiritual craft. I like that. That would be a good name for you. Yeah, and that fits you. I mean, we know Shadow Sun. And I want to take this moment to say that if you are not a member of Wyrds, Witches, Witchcraft on Facebook, really, I encourage you to join. Because every month I do a free reading for a lucky winner. I take a random name from the members that ask, and I do a free reading. That book from Thorn is going to be a giveaway, but if you're a member, you'll get special something. So join. We have some great games. We also have wonderful memes that people share. I put out scenarios for people to discuss. When I do the Practical Witchcraft series, you'll get first view. So I'll share the link in the group maybe a day before I release it on my YouTube channel, something like that. Things like that. I'm going to see what I can do. Maybe. I'd like to do that. I don't know if I can technically figure that out, but check that out. James wants to know, what do you think about masks in magic? If that question even makes sense. Masks in the astral and physical sense, I don't know. I mean, if you're talking about an actual practical mask, like putting on a mask while you're practicing witchcraft, I know of a few people who actually wear masks when they invoke spirits. So, or invoke a deity. So, say, for example, say they're working with Aphrodite. They have a specific mask that they put on when they invoke or draw down the moon or draw down Aphrodite's spirit energy. And I understand for them it works well. And I think that if that type of thing works for you, I almost feel like it either works for you or it doesn't. You know, either people really connect with that or they feel kind of foolish in doing that. So I think it can be a tool. Glamoring
Yeah.
magic. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking glamoring magic when I first read, because of the
Mm-hmm.
astrophysical.
Mm-hmm.
It glamoring is kind of the thing who links the two aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so as CricketSong just say, if it works for you, so go for it. I mean, wearing a real actual physical mask, so go for it. Why
I
not?
mean, I definitely think glamoring works.
In the past, there were a lot of ancient tradition who wears
Mm-hmm.
masks to invoke, Anubis, for an example, and so yeah, sure, go for it if it appeals to you. I personally don't do that, but I sometimes use glamoring magic in a spiritual sense,
Yeah, me
in a
too.
spiritual meaning.
Yeah. Yeah, me
So I use
too.
a bit of that sometimes, but I think we all do.
Yeah, I
At
agree.
some point,
I
glamour,
agree.
glamour.
Well, I think there's a difference between people who accidentally do
Yeah,
glamoring and people who do it with intention. For I mean, like if you're going on an interview for a job, um, obviously, I mean, if you want to sort of set out the intention that you're going to get the job, you may be super nervous, but if you spend some time like in front of a mirror and glamour confidence and uh, maybe not just confidence but assertiveness, maybe you're not really an assertive person. I mean, you can prepare yourself to go into an interview intentionally.
yeah,
I think that's glamour.
yes, it is. It is. So, glamour magic. So, well, we just said a couple of words on that. I'm from Mexico and I have years of Mayan bloodline. Would it be a good idea trying to connect to Mayan deities? Lately, I've been thinking about it. So, if you think about it, do it,
Yeah,
and just
I agree.
and just see how it goes. If it speaks to you, there might be a reason. Try it. I
Yeah,
would
I
say
agree.
try.
I agree. Especially if you have that calling, that feel, that pull
Yeah,
to do it. There is something
you
definitely
should
there.
try them. Mm.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Um, You have to choose a topic. Which one did you pick?
Okay, yeah. So, okay, let me start out. Let me read this question because I think this is a good question. So, starting off in the craft can be difficult. There's so much to learn. It can be overwhelming. Usually you sort of have to choose a topic. So how do you know which topic you should pick to start learning from is what I think this person is asking. So if you're a brand new person, where do you begin? Where do you start?
I would say a mix of two things. The first would be obviously find your path, kind of. What calls to you? This gonna be your, lead to go further into things. Let's say, like for the Mayan bloodlines, it's a thread. If it appeals to you, if it calls to you, then you should start by following that and digging and doing research, learn about mythology, about deities, about spiritual practice, and see what makes sense for you. Starting from that, you will then dig from one other aspect and one another, and it will take you further in it. So just start with what do you feel right? What is appealing for you? Start with that. And the other one would say the basic correspondences and everything like this, the meaning of the symbolism, the correspondences charts, and everything like this, for the day, the months, the planets, everything like this. And by doing a mixing of those two, I would say you will go really, really into it in no time. Because if you are feeling connected, if you are interested about what you are searching for, seeking for, you will go more and more into it and learn without even realizing that you are learning a lot of things. So
Yeah, I would agree. I would also I would come from it from a different way though. I would say look at the witch's pyramid, and the
yeah,
first point is to know. So in what Obsidian said, knowing what you are called to do or called to
know yourself.
research, but know yourself. Yeah, I'd start with knowing yourself first. And how I began to know myself was through like meditation, whatever form that takes for you. It doesn't mean you have to just sit there and not think of anything. I mean, if you're more of an active person, maybe going for a walk. And while you're going for a walk, instead of listening to music, maybe you want to be more aware of your surroundings and become familiar with where you live and feel the energy of the ground beneath your feet in your neighborhood and learn the energies of the land you're living on and learn about yourself, journal things that come to your mind. I mean, because maybe as you're thinking, maybe like the individual Marco, who's from Mexico, maybe he's thinking about these things, about connecting with the Mayan gods, and he starts journaling about it. And then he realizes I should research my family history. That's going to know more about him. And that is going to connect with things that he can then research more. So I started with the witch's pyramid and started with to know. And then the next one is to dare. So to dare to go further with these things, to will actually do them, that's how I would approach it. And that's how I taught students, you learn to know, and then you move with what you know, then you expand on that and go through that. That's how I've gone through it. But it definitely takes into consideration exactly what Obsidian was talking about.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. It's just
We get to the same end result.
side.
Right.
And
Her and I get to the same result. We just come about it in a different way.
yeah, because it's the same spirit in it.
It is.
You need to
So,
stop at some point.
right. We're at 9:30. We're at our time. I
Okay.
know there were a couple of more questions, but we're at our time. We kind of got to end here. So next week we're talking with Cole, I think.
Yes.
Next week we're
Sigils.
talking sigil magic with Cole Ledbetter. Yeah, we're excited about this show next week. So yeah, this is going to be fun. Yeah, I know. I don't think we've ever talked about sigil magic, you and I, on the air yet.
No,
and Cole is a great one to talk with about that. And then again, at some point in March, Thorn is supposed to be back, and we will be talking about protection magic at some point in March as well. Thank you all for being wonderful and for participating in the chat. It was great to see the conversation going.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be looking for more comments about this 10-question tag. If you have a YouTube channel, please make videos and share the links. I want to see them. And Obsidian has something to say.
Yeah, of course, she always have something to say, even if it's not interesting at all. Either way, she will open her big mouth. Bon, j'espère que vous avez passé un bon moment avec nous. Et donc, retrouvez-nous la semaine prochaine pour un show avec Cole, à propos donc de l'art de créer des sigils. Et voilà. Et n'hésitez pas à laisser des commentaires, à répondre aux tags, à laisser donc des vidéos-réponses, comme elle a dit CricketSong. Et mes chats sont en train de démonter la maison. Et voilà. Et je vous laisse pour aujourd'hui. Bye bye.
And until next week, everyone, I love you. Blessed be. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.